I've been thinking about the possibilities for G.I. Joe Classified Haslab for a while now, and we might have gotten a hint in the last YouTube Hasbro livestream with the sound of the tank treads at the very end of the stream. And with that, and a few other parameters I came up with, I think I have a good guess for the 5 most likely G.I. Joe Classified Haslab projects. Here are my parameters. Scale. It should be bigger than a Vamp or a Stinger or something like that, because I feel like those could be regular in-store releases if they wanted to. But it should be smaller than something like the Terrordrome or anything in that scale. Something like that is too much. They definitely wouldn't go that far. I would not expect the project to be any sort of aircraft or watercraft. They did the Sky Striker for the 3.75 inch scale as a Haslab. I don't know that they would do something like that for the 6-inch scale. And as far as watercraft go, there are options that would be cool, but I feel like they would be more inclined to keep it on the ground. Plus, we were teased, in my opinion, maybe we're looking too much into it, but the sound of tank treads, which to me solidifies the idea that the Haslab is most likely to be a land vehicle, furthermore, one with tank treads. Next, my final parameter, it should be a vehicle that is somehow iconic to the franchise. So that would mean it probably wasn't originally released after 1987. I feel like most of the vehicles that we would think of as iconic to the brand were released between 1982 and 1987. Let's go through these in descending order. Number 5, the Thunder Machine. This was actually my number 1 guess for quite a while. I felt like we were given some hints that they were going toward the Thunder Machine in their various live streams and social media, etc. Also, I feel like it fits in a good size range for what they might do with a Haslab. It's not too big. Also, it seems like the type of vehicle that has a lot of potential for add-ons, multiple figures, a good way to get out a good 2 or 3 dreadnoughts possibly. I felt like they could do some fun stuff with the chain guns in the front and the overall design. That said, this is moved to number 5 in the list primarily because of the hint, or what I believe, or what many believe is a hint that we got at the end of the last YouTube live stream. And that would be the sound of the tank treads. And with that said, the remaining 4 potential Haslab projects on my list all have tank treads in one form or another. Number 4, Havoc. I think this one is a strong possibility because even the original release came with a lot of features. And I feel like that could translate well to a Haslab project. With the variety of movable parts, that it has the separate little flying car, that it can fit multiple figures inside, and it's on the bigger side, but not so big that I don't think they would do it for a Haslab. And I think it is too big for something that they would ever do as a regular release that we would find in store. So I feel like this vehicle, size-wise, is right in the sweet spot. And as far as features go, I feel like if they just made it bigger, kind of upgraded it a little bit in terms of its overall design, not really change anything much, but tweak it, play into the amount of versatility and features the original toy had, I think this could be a winner for a Haslab project. That said, this is number 4 on the list, and I think there are 3 more that have a higher potential. Number 3, bridge layer. This one, I believe, is a solid choice. I think it is more likely than Havoc. At this point, I think it would be more likely than the Thunder Machine. And I think it has a built-in feature that would make it a great project for Haslab. That being that it lays the bridge. So I feel like you could add tiers to this. It fits multiple figures as a vehicle. So an extra figure could be one tier. And then other tiers could be more world building things. You have the bridge that you could lay out. This could really work well for diorama purposes, photography, etc. This one also fits into the perfect size range that I feel like they would stick to in this project. Number 2. Now here's where we are getting to very likely, in my opinion, the MOBAT. I feel like the hint that we got at the end of the Hasbro live stream, this is one of the two most likely options. Also, in terms of iconic G.I. Joe franchise vehicles, I believe this one is right up there at the top. I do not believe, and I never thought that we would get an air vehicle, because there are plenty of planes and helicopters that I believe fit that mold of iconic G.I. Joe vehicle. But I've always believed that this Haslab was going to be a land-based vehicle. And I believe that the sound of the tank treads at the end of that live stream confirms that. So in terms of land-based vehicles that are iconic to the brand and also fit in the scale, MOBAT is perfect. The one thing that I think that takes away from this as being the project is that the actual vehicle only fits one figure. And I feel like a Haslab project, the vehicle should fit more than one figure. But that's just me. They could do all kinds of things with the tiers, add-on tiers with this. And, you know, we might not love all the tiers as what usually happens in Haslab projects, but I do believe that they could do a lot to really make us feel like this is something that we want to make room on our shelves for. Number 1, the Hiss tank. I've always felt like this is a high possibility, and before that live stream, it was probably my number 2 guess, with the Thunder Machine being number 1. However, with the Thunder Machine going to number 5 on my list, Hiss tank moves up to the number 1 spot. Now, Hiss tank checks all the boxes. It is clearly an iconic G.I. Joe franchise vehicle. One of the most iconic, I would say. Also, it accommodates more than one figure. It fits right into the proper scale range, I would think. And with that said, I do think that maybe it is on the lower end of the scale that would require it to be a Haslab rather than be a regular release. But there are a number of things that they could do as far as the add-on tiers for the Hiss tank that I can think of. For one, they could give us a trooper to man the cannons. 2, they could add on that original style Cobra Commander as a 3rd figure, just like in the box art. Another great add-on they could do that could really make this worth it would be to include the rocket launcher that could be towed by the Hiss tank. All of those add-ons, and maybe a couple other little things here and there, would make this a great Haslab project. Now, I could understand the sense that the Hiss tank is a little bit overdone in the franchise. If you look through the history of the G.I. Joe vehicles, there are many, many iterations of the Hiss tank. And though I could imagine getting something different and being very happy, I believe that this is the most likely scenario, and I believe they could do it really well. and I believe most of us would be really happy with the outcome. All right, tell me what you think below.